Guys, today we're going to talk about the AMP, the pizza dough roller, which comes in two versions, 400 and 500. We're also going to talk a bit about how to clean this equipment. Turn on the machine, remove this acrylic window. The machine won't work when you remove this acrylic window. For cleaning, use a cloth on the rollers. Remove all the excess flour. With a brush, you simply clean and remove all the excess flour that falls here on the table. Put the acrylic window back in place. Turn the machine on and it works perfectly. This exceptional equipment comes complete with 3 distinct trays of varying diameters, specifically 25 millimeters, 35 millimeters, 30 millimeters, and 40 millimeters. And there is also the versatile flat tray, which thoughtfully allows you to effortlessly open the dough to meticulously make a stuffed crust entirely by hand, okay? In addition to these included trays, you always have the convenient option to purchase additional trays separately as needed. Neapolitan-style trays with diameters of 25, 35, 30, and 40. We've already talked about the 8. About the trays, the available sizes, the equipment, and the 400 and 500 versions. We're talking about cleaning. Now we're going to talk about a very important topic called dough weight and hydration. What level of hydration does this equipment work with, so to speak? The best way to use this equipment is with 58% hydration. That's the limit for this type of work, when you're making it with a false crust, okay? With diameters of 25, 35, 30, and 40. For all these diameters you make, you use 58% hydration. However, when you work for doughs with a hydration level ranging from 65% up to 72%, it is recommended that you utilize a Neapolitan-style tray and carefully open the dough using a generous amount of semolina, ensuring a perfect texture and consistency. The dough weight used for each type of diameter you want to open is always, for 25 centimeters, between 120 grams and 150 grams of dough. For a 35 centimeter opening, you use between 280 grams and 320 grams. For a 30 centimeters opening, you use between 250 and 280 grams. For a 40 centimeter opening, always talking about the fake crust, you use between 350 grams and 380 grams. And when you want to make a pizza with a stuffed crust, you open the 40 centimeter diameter with the weight should be between 350 grams and 380 grams, okay? Now we're going to show the correct way to work with the equipment. First, you dust the tray, okay? You can use flour or you can use cornmeal mixed with flour. And as I mentioned earlier, you can use semolina to open it up, right? So, after carefully dusting the baking tray, you then gently take the prepared dough ball. First, flour it thoroughly, then sprinkle a generous amount of fine wheat flour on top. Carefully take it over to the machine. The machine is already powered on and ready. You simply need to gently pull the lever, and it is crucial that you consistently maintain a steady and even pressure throughout the entire process. During this time right there, you make the false crust which stays here. All of this part here. Now we're going to put this on the peel. Let's peel this pizza. And then you'll see the result of the false crust. So here it is. When we cut here, what do we always show? That in this part here, as you can see, this will always be the highest part where all the air in the dough is concentrated right here. And here is the standardization of the opening. This one is always in a straight line right here. If you look, it will always be even, both in the center and at the edge here. Obviously, since all the air comes over here, when it falls into the channel of the false crust, the edge will always be exposed. So, to truly demonstrate that it really is perfectly consistent, we're going to carefully cut like this, then precisely cut like that, and meticulously make a delicious pizza as if we had a wonderfully warm, freshly baked pizza right here in our very own hands, ready to be enjoyed. So, you'll notice, at no point will you see a new product with any flaws. Look here, every slice we've cut, you can see that the standardization remains, and always at the false edge, the highest part will always be where the air is concentrated. So that means this equipment opens it up as if it were with a rolling pin, but always from the center to the sides, from the center to the sides with the cones in motion. Place it on the peel. And we're going to add the filling. If you notice, the edge is already formed here. At no point do you flip the dough. Just as it comes out of the machine, you place it here. Guys, now we're going to show you the impressive and meticulously crafted result of the false edge, a demonstration that highlights its unique characteristics and the careful work involved in achieving this specific outcome. Besides that, we also have to talk about the productivity, agility, and standardization provided by this equipment called AMP, the pizza dough opener. And what's the most important thing about all this? It's the preservation of the air inside the dough. This is what ensures that the edge always has air inside the dough. You don't kill the edge. The edge is always airy. The dough stays lighter in area. So that's why you get this result of a false crust. Now, folks, we're going to work with the Neapolitan style tray. Neapolitan, the procedure is the same. You dust it, and obviously if you're using a naturally fermented dough, true Neapolitan style, you'll dust it with semolina. But since I'm working with an Italian style dough, I just used wheat flour. One very important thing we also need to highlight is letting the dough rest before opening it. At least 2 hours. You have to let the dough rest before taking it to the machine and starting the opening process. So here we're going to work with this Neapolitan disc. Neapolitan. And as I said, the pressure is always continuous. It doesn't stop. In the middle of the process, you give it this final press. And the crust here, it's already forming before we even take it out of the tray. Did you notice how the crust process is different? When you use the Neapolitan style because it's wider. And this also makes all the air in the dough move to this edge here when forming the crust. Now we're going to put it in the oven. Let's top this pizza. And as I mentioned earlier, you don't flip the dough, you just take it off the tray. However, it comes off the disc. That's how you place it on the peel. Guys, here is the result of the Neapolitan style crust. You saw that earlier we made it with the fake crust, and now we're making it with the Neapolitan style crust. Neapolitan. The air is much more concentrated in the edges here because the diameter of the type, the groove in the tray is bigger. Did you notice how much air stays here at the tip, at the edge of the dough? That's what creates the Neapolitan style tray. For that, this is the process right here. When you make this movement here, the dough goes back and forth because it has air inside. And that's precisely what the MP does. It effectively keeps the air securely trapped inside the dough. I always emphasize this important point. When you are conducting a demonstration in a retail store, at a bustling fair, or at any significant public event, always make sure to utilize the convenient tray to effortlessly move various items and products around with ease of the equipment. By using the tray, you're doing it the right way. A very important piece of information: when you receive the machine at your establishment or pizzeria, you'll notice that when you press the on-off button, a light turns on, but you don't hear any noise. No motor noise at all. So when you pull the lever and the rollers start working, the machine is ready to operate. So it's very quiet, in addition to all the convenience and standardization it will provide for you.